Good morning, everyone. I'm David Talbot, Managing Director and Head of Research here at Red Cloud Securities. Our next presenter is Eric Zaunscherb. He's Chairman and CEO of GR Silver Mining. Now, GR Silver is focused on highly prospective regional scale silver and gold prospects in the historic Rosario Mining District in Mexico. So Eric, you have 15 minutes to present, and then we'll have a 5-minute Q&A session at the end.
Great. Thank you very much, David. And thank you to Red Cloud for hosting this excellent conference. It's really appreciated. I am, as David said, Chairman and CEO of GR Silver. I recently took on the CEO role in order to help out the founder and President, Chief Operating Officer, Marcio Fonseca, who's done a great job with the company. And the company is growing, so it's a real opportunity to come in on the CEO level. That happened on Monday. First thing I want to do is talk about the way we tend to look at companies. As an analyst, I spent 34 years on the street as an analyst in different firms, Toronto, Vancouver, and London, England. And for me, it was always a matter of the 4 Ps: the project, the place, the people, and the price. And so from a project perspective, our focus, our marquee project is the Plomosas project. And it is a project that has past production history from the Spanish era to the modern era, district scale, low to intermediate sulfidation, epithermal mineralization, a bounty of historical data allowing the peeling of the onion, if you will, on controls on mineralization. Active drill programs testing a modern exploration model focused on high-grade silver and gold mineralization, and we now have new discoveries driving continued resource growth. In terms of the place, it is Sinaloa in Mexico. We have a wholly owned district scale project at over 700 square kilometers. We have existing infrastructure, including road access, power direct to site, and an owned mill site from the past. We have existing agreements with the local ejidos, 2 on production and 1 on exploration. And we have a very strong social license with the community, looking at employment, health, training, and education initiatives. In terms of people, I mentioned the experience management leading a team of deep talent on the ground in Mexico. Our founder, as I mentioned, Marcio Fonseca, he had the vision to build the Rosario district, and has assembled the land package and the infrastructure to advance and de-risk moving forward. And so that was an extremely important point. We're now at that inflection point as we move from land consolidation, data compilation, through a modern exploration package, and now delivering on high-grade silver and gold mineralization. We've got a highly diverse and experienced board. We'll talk about that later. And finally, in terms of price, the company is currently trading at around 80 cents US per ounce in the ground, enterprise value per ounce in the ground, and the mean is around $1.50 per ounce globally. And so that's an extreme discount that we want to address as we move forward, as we continue to deliver resources. It's an excellent opportunity, entry opportunity. Moving onward, as I mentioned, we're in Sinaloa, so it's about a 3-hour drive out of Mazatlan, 1 hour by highway to El Rosario, and then dirt road access to the project at various entry points. The core project is around 476 square kilometers, and our focus is on drilling for discoveries in that. We also have non-core properties throughout. You can see some of our neighbors, and those non-core assets we're preserving for optionality. This is a view to the east. You can see the Sierra Madre Occidental in the background, and you have a very large property, as I said, over 400 square kilometers, almost 500 square kilometers, with 3 important structural trends. So those are about 45 kilometers combined, and each structural corridor has within it multiple parallel vein systems, as well as cross-cutting features as well, driving several pulses of mineralization. So multiple pulses of epithermal mineralization. As we move on, our target for 2022 is growing the resource base, and of course expansion drilling that's focused in the San Marcial area, and I'll zero in on that, and also infill drilling targeting a silver grade increase, and that's at our Plumosis project. Okay, and moving on, focusing on San Marcial. So I'll just pop back to the map here. San Marcial is here in the southeast. We're going to be largely focusing on this structural trend. So at San Marcial, we currently have 29 million ounces silver indicated and 10 million ounces silver inferred. And we have just completed recently an underground drill program there. Marcio very presciently looked at an old crosscut that we then carved out to 2 by 3 meters, made it very, very safe, and created a drill station at the end of it that provided the opportunity to drill at depth from underground. That has created a great opportunity for us. In terms of metallurgy, the silver recovers beautifully, 90 to 93% in leach only basis. So this is what I'm talking about at San Marcial. This is a long section, southeast to northwest. You can see this hatched area, that is the Whittle pit limit at $16.50 US. And that gives us our 49 million ounces globally in a potential open pit. The blue hatched line here, that is the limit of previous surface drilling, and everything above that represents about 52 historical holes. And then down here we have 8 holes drilled recently, the 4 that have been reported, 21-1 through 4, and then 4 that are in the lab that we expect to see by the end of March. The 2 holes that really have us excited here are 299 grams per ton silver over 38 meters, including a kilo over 3.5. And then we have hole number 3 that is 18 meters of 773 grams per ton silver, 5.6 meters of 1.8 kilos. So these are important for several reasons. One is obviously the high grade that we like to see, but it's also becoming more silver rich. And there's also a gold halo around as well. Base metals are coming down, so that's extremely important. The grade increases with depth and the proportion of silver increases with depth. So the next drilling round, we're going to be doing a bit of surface drilling from here, and then also the tunnel access here, we can expand to either side and get more of a 3D image of that going forward. This is San Marcial resource statement from 2019, and you can see the grades of silver, pure silver, 117 on indicated and 91 on inferred. This is what we want to increase, the grade in the silver, which is very doable given the holes that we're seeing on that depth extension, and we want to build the ounces on that basis. So now I'd like to talk about Plumosis. That's our second target. Now, if I go back up to the map, you can see we were talking about San Marcial here. 5 kilometers to the north is the Plumosis mine. It's a historical base metal mine with a very nice silver credit. And in August, we reported a new resource. And you can see by that resource, an average silver grade of around 45 grams per ton. On a silver equivalent basis, we're looking at around 120 grams per ton. And let's face it, that is somewhat disappointing. And that resource, when that came out in August, did disappoint the market. But I want to tell you something. There is an opportunity here to increase the grade. If we look at historical grade, the historical mined grade here was 190 grams per ton silver and something close to 300 grams per ton on a silver equivalent basis. There are 3 reasons why this is extremely important to look at what's happened here. One is that the historical holes, only 82% of those were validated. So others, we either didn't have the core or we didn't have the documentation. So old holes that didn't get validated, that is 0 in the resource model. Number 2 is that past sampling done by Grupo Mexico and others focused only on visible sulfides. So those are found normally at the top and at the bottom of that unit. Everything in between went unsampled. And so unsampled means 0 in the resource model, despite the fact that we have over 5,000 channel samples underground that beg to differ, as well as some twinned holes. Thirdly, is we're talking about high-grade hits that occur. And let me show you on the slide here that if you look at this one, for example, the blue is the main mineralization that's at 45 degrees running roughly north-south. We get these high-angle secondary structures that cross-cut across that main. And associated with that are some very high-grade gold mineralization as well as silver. Those were just random hits in the past. And consequently, there's no drilling, there's no continuity on those structures, and they consequently didn't come into the resource. So what we want to demonstrate is the concept that with surgical drilling, with detailed drilling, and these are the underground stopes here in different colors, and 8 kilometers of underground development. So with very short holes, surgically infilling drilling off of the surface as well as off of that underground development, we believe that we can have a significant impact on the grade of that initial resource. So between San Marcial, our primary target, and our secondary target, the infill drilling on Plomosas, we believe that we can have a big impact here. We intend to deliver within 1 year resource updates on those 2 locations. Now let's look at the tertiary targets. So these are down the priority, but these are extremely important in the long run. So this is a view to the east. Again, you've got the Sierra Madres in the background. You've got the Plomosas mine on the inside of this hill, and you have multiple vein structures running more or less north-south, northwest, southeast. And these parallel structures give us lots of interesting targets. This little postage stamp is a third-party gold mine, so high-grade underground gold mine at La Colorada. We have now found extensions to this to the north, and if you look at one of the recent releases we had a surface sampling, a channel sample that gave us 2.3 meters, 16.5 grams gold, and 244 grams of silver, including 1.2 meters of 27 grams gold and 356 grams silver. So there's some really high grade coming off of the northwest extension off of La Colorada. There's some drill holes that are awaited in the lab at this point in time. It's another view, this time to the northeast, and you can see that La Colorada area, the opening of the private mine that's here up towards Loma Dorada. Look at some of these results as well, looking at things like, 0.6 meters, 6.5 kilos per ounce of silver, 0.85 meters, 5.6 kilos of silver. So there is high grade here. There's no question about that. It's a matter of working through. We have now developed a modern exploration model, given the hundreds of drill holes from the past, digesting that compilation, compiling that data, having a new model. We are now at that inflection point, going from a very quiet period for the company to a very noisy period. As we drill, we know where to drill to get the high grade, and that's the entire focus of this year, is expanding on the grade for us. Now, we've been talking about here the Plomosas mine area and San Marcial. This is one structural corridor. There's another one here, and then a third here. This was the Trinidad open pit that produced around 300,000 ounces here at the open pit. That was an open pit heap leach operation. This is a graben that runs roughly northwest southeast. That graben has been infilled by sediments, and these graben sides, these faulted sides, are another style of mineralization. We have 1,000 holes that came with this acquisition last year in consolidating this district. That data is being compiled. There's some work being done. But that again is our tertiary target for this year. The focus remains at San Marcial and at Plomosas. In terms of corporate, the capital structure for the company, you're looking at 167 million shares outstanding, 189.7 million on a fully diluted basis. Most of these options and warrants are out of the money. We're looking at then a market cap that is around 50 million Canadian. The coverage is beginning to grow. We want to see more coverage, more of an institutional presence. At present, you've got some key institutions and funds represent about 29% of the ownership. Management has skin in the game at 7.5%. First Majestic in through the Plomosas mine area acquisition have a 12.9% interest. And the rest, I would say, is largely retail and high net worth. I mentioned the people. We've got an experienced management team. Marcio comes out of some very big companies, Phelps Dodge and Vale, as a resource geologist and then as a banker with Macquarie Bank. Trevor Wolf, VP Exploration and Corporate Development, Blaine Bailey, a very experienced CFO, and Brenda Dayton, our VP Corporate Communications. On the board, there's some names that some might recognize. Jonathan Rubenstein is the former chairman of Mag Silver. Laura Diaz is the former general director of the Mines Ministry. So extremely experienced in Mexico, an extremely important partner as we move the company forward. ESG, we haven't talked about very much. It is something that is my goal as CEO, is to demonstrate all the good things and celebrate all the good things that we've been doing with the community. Again, we have a very strong social license there. So again, the 4Ps project is superb. The place is extremely good. People are extremely experienced and know what they're doing going forward. And we have an extremely good valuation. Just wanted to show you the size of some of these stopes underground here, over 20-meter height. And these things blossom out where the breccia encounters some of these cross structures. So extremely good mining. It's standing up after a number of years. And we're excited to continue to explore both underground at Plomosas and at San Marcial. And I shall leave it there for any questions that we might have.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for your presentation, Eric. So we've got about 3 minutes for questions here. What management and technical positions do you still need to fill?
I would say management, we're in a very good spot right now. We've got Trevor Wolf as the VP Corporate Development and Exploration. He's been on site for quite a while and knows the rocks intimately. He used to work with Placid Dome and quite a few others in a exploration and corporate development basis. As I mentioned, Marcio has done a lot of work on resource geology and in particular with large companies. So to me, that's extremely important to have someone from a big company perspective. We don't want to be the company that that people come back and say, "Oops, the resource is actually 40% or 60% of what we thought it is." What we have right now is the absolute bottom in terms of what the grade and the number of ounces might be. And as we drill more surgically infill at Plomosas mine, I'm confident that we're going to have an impact on that grade and bring that up.
Okay, great. So, and that focuses on improving silver grades. Is that going to help resource growth, or is this something that you're thinking more on an economics improvement basis?
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at the volume, let's say at the Plomosas project, you're looking at 8.2 million tons between indicated and inferred. It is, are we going to expand that? Sure, there's a potential to expand a little bit at Plomosas. But what we want to see is a change in the grade. As I mentioned, historically, those stopes that you can see in the various colors here gave us 2.5 million tons, gave the operator 2.5 million tons at 190 grams per ton silver, pure silver, before base metal and gold credits, whereas we came in at 45. This is a lot of opportunity to increase the grade there with surgical infill drilling. San Marcial is you could argue a different story in that we see the potential to increase volume as we go to depth, while also increasing grade. As we have noted, that silver grade increases as you go to depth here.
Right. And are you cashed up to carry out your plans this year?
Unfortunately not. We have a treasury that is, I think the last quarter was around $2.5 million. We have been burning through that, and this would be an excellent opportunity to tap the market. We have the vision to go forward here with these two extremely prospective areas to increase resources. So we would like to raise more money as soon as the market is amenable.
Great. Okay, well, we're up on time now, Eric. So thank you very much for the discussion. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Up next, we have Aura Minerals on stream 1 and Fury Gold on stream 2. Thank
Thank
you.
you very much, David.